Evan, you do something enough, and eventually it just doesn't go as planned, and that's what's happened to us, yeah?
Yeah, so eventually something is bound to happen and something is bound to go wrong.
Absolutely. So we've spent a lot of time underwater scuba diving this year. I think we're on day 297 out of the year. I've been underwater 263 times this year. You've been with me for most of that, yeah?
Yeah, so a lot of good diving, but also some bad mixed in with it as well.
Yes, absolutely. Some things that we can learn from. And what have we got there?
Well, we have getting lost underwater in Puerto Rico, we have some panic divers in Florida, and we have an out-of-air situation in a shark cage at Guadalupe.
Yeah, so some interesting scenarios to talk about. I think we should sit down with some other experts and talk through those. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
All right, let's go find somebody. Gus and Woody, thank you guys so much for joining us here. We wanted to take some time and kind of review again 3 things that didn't go quite right for us this year, and we thought of nobody better to react with us and talk through what happened than you guys.
Wow. I'm totally honored. First of all, high five.
Thank you.
Hey, I want to start off by saying, can you just tell them what you did to come here and visit us just to do this? Because I saved that. I'm like, I can't believe it.
Yeah, so we caught a plane in St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands where we live, headed up to Miami, got on another plane, flew up here to Atlanta. We didn't rent a car, so we took the MARTA all the way up here and then an Uber to meet you guys in the studio.
That was the bravest thing I've ever heard. Somebody taking MARTA on a Monday here in Atlanta. But yeah, for sure. Thank you guys for being here with us. And
high five.
I'm looking forward to reacting to this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've had some stellar dives this year that have gone very well for us, but there's been 3 in particular that stand out where things did not go as planned.
Well, let's give it a shot.
That happens. It's all about how you handled it. I bet sometimes those are the best learning ones, right? Do you think you learned more from this one or all the ones that went perfect?
Definitely learn more from these. Yeah, for sure. You know, when we do some training, you know, we talk about what to do in instances, but when it happens in reality, it's just kind of a whole different ball game. So, yeah, we're going to take a look at what we actually did in these types of scenarios and maybe talk about what we could do better and go from there.
Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
And by the way, we haven't seen this.
No. That's right. This is fresh.
All right, let's grab the DPV real quick. Look at the control panel.
Volume a little bit.
Switch on.
Yeah.
This little switch.
So let me set the stage here a little bit for you guys.
Pause it.
Yeah. So let me set the stage here for you guys a little bit. What I'm doing here is I'm doing a dive out in Puerto Rico.
If you need to pause it, just hit the space bar. We'll both have that right here.
Let's do it. Let's hit the pause button. It's giving me control. This is
How about that?
dangerous.
Dive talk pause button.
Ooh, this is dangerous. Yeah, so I'm doing a DPV dive out here on the west end of Puerto Rico. That really wasn't in the plan. What my goal was to really just do a dive of the pier out there and to just learn the dive site. But I was kind of sold on doing a DPV dive. So, okay, fine. Got this big DPV, big camera, and it's a really low visibility day. And so let's just play.
Never seen that kind of dive hood, but
Cool.
You don't like my
I'm
dive
not
hood?
kidding you. That was what I was about to say. That is a... Wait a second. That is the weirdest thing, Gus. I was just about to say my first reaction is, wow, a baseball cap while you're diving. I've never seen that before.
I get called out on this one quite a bit, but I love it. It's my go-to at this point.
all right.
Because it protects me from the sun out there in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
I take it off when I go under, put it back on when I come back up. And you know what? It works.
I know. I have that same issue where my head
challenge there.
is an issue. Okay, that's
Give it a
really
shot.
weird that he said that.
Yep. Oh, I got the power. Yeah, so he's giving me this DPV out here, and I'm unfamiliar with this DPV. Apparently, it's one that you actually place between your legs and ride, as opposed to hold out in front of you.
What?
Yeah, it's weird. So you can see me put it here. I'm like, all right,
That looks safe.
this sound.
What? Okay, so wait. So there's somebody just walking around with like this DPV suppository. It's just like, hey, just put it between your legs and go. Like, wait, what? How did this happen? Like, who's walking around with these?
So there's a shop out there, and they rent these. So it's part of the deal. But this DPV was new to me too. So,
All right.
Yeah, but anyway.
Let's go.
I'm learning as we go.
Two side DPV. Interesting.
Yeah.
With a sticker falling off. Great quality.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right, so we're kind of cutting to the descent here. So we've cruised out on the surface and headed down at this point. And this is where we start to see our low visibility kind of come into play. It's just the two of us out there, myself and the instructor. And the issue here is with the navigation, and that's our main problem.
Okay.
Starting out, not a problem because we find this ridge line, which is where he was taking me to, of some coral. So we can follow that out to the north, kind of keeping it up on our right, and then we can turn around and we follow that ridge line back down to the south. So the navigation starts off fairly straightforward. So you can see the ridge line. The ridge line here. I'm still struggling with this DPV, trying to figure out how to work the buttons with the giant camera.
With your knees?
With
you
my
think
knees.
it's hard to operate buttons with your knees?
It is.
Yeah, I think so. Like, who invented this DPV? I just want to know what college they went to. Like, who made this decision? They were like, yeah, pause it. They were like, oh, you know how DPVs are great when they're pulling you and you can correct yourself and, like, do sharp turns and it's easier to tow people when their DPV breaks and stuff? Let's not do any of that. Let's put it between their legs and make them operate it with their knees. Let's do that.
Okay. I'm less interested in the DPV. These have been around a long time, and they're just for tooling around reefs. I'm more interested in, do you have a compass?
I do.
Did you guys have a dive plan? Did you have like charts or anything? I'm just trying to get set up of what's going on here.
All right, let me give you the setup here then. Yeah, for sure. So again, my initial goal was to go dive that pier, but getting in the water there, he altered the plan so we go check out this ridge line to the north of the coral. And the reason for the change in plan was because of low visibility. Figured we couldn't see anything at the pier. Okay, fine. So it's his house reef. I'm like, we're good. We'll be fine. So yes, I've got a compass with me. Okay. Actually, I've got two. I've got one, the electronic compass in my computer, and then an actual physical, compass.
Okay, cool. And what's the depth that you're going to be diving in? Is it air that you're diving?
I'm diving with air. This is a recreational dive. I think my maximum depth was probably about 50 feet on this dive.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That helps me to understand if something does go bad, kind of what's going on logistically.
Sure.
Thanks. Looks fun. I want to do it.
You want a crutch DPV?
I would happily get out there and cruise around. I've actually done those crotch DPVs in the Cayman. They're pretty fun.
It was different. All right, so now we've turned around. We're starting to head back, and this is where things start to go a little sideways on us, right? Using that ridge line as some natural navigation was easy enough for the up north and then back south. But now we're underwater at about 40 to 50 feet, and we got to find our beach and our pier down there again to the south, and it's nothing but open sand. So we've only got our compass to rely on. And what happens in here is we start going in circles. I find him following me around, or I'm following him around to the right, and then to the left, and then back around, and we've made one complete full circle out here in the water.
But you're at 40 or 50 feet.
Yes.
And you have no deco.
Correct.
Maybe it's going to require a safety stop, but it's a safety stop. So you could have gone to the surface and looked, and I'm wondering, did you? Or maybe that's coming.
We do. That's coming up.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done. I'm like, I have no idea where we are. I'm just going up, Gus.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah.
40, 50 feet. I'm like, hang on, or let's go up for a second and look.
That's coming up here.
Okay, cool.
So let's run it a little bit.
Is that Cuba?
That's what I'm kind of wondering at this point. Yeah, because I'm getting that sense. Hey, I'm just running in circles here. So I do ask him to kind of stop at one point, and I'm like, give him the "where are we going" sign, like the hands up, like where are we headed here? Looking around, starting to realize like I'm not sure we're headed exactly where we think we're headed. So we do come to a stop here, and I'll just pause here real quick. We do come to a stop, and he does say he's going to go up. He points to himself. I'm going up, and I'm gonna look around, get some orientation.
And how's your air? No.
Air at this point is pretty good because we're on
Okay.
DPVs. We're not breathing very heavy. It's the DPVs doing all the work. So
Yeah.
we had some pretty good bottom time.
And how long was this? How long you been down at this point?
We've been down probably about 30 minutes at this point. I
so
think our
you're
total.
totally fine.
Yeah. We still got time.
Sounds like an interrogation, bro. It's like how long have you been down? What were you doing the day of the October 13th?
Well,
Take it
I gotta
easy.
know, man.
In these
I gotta
days-
understand. Otherwise, it's just no relevance.
We'll get you the
All
facts. So yeah, we're cruising along down here, and again, at some point in here, he stops and goes and takes that look. And what he did
That's what you see.
is, that's what you see, and that's what you see because he completely left me.
Nailed it.
Yeah. So he points to me and says, "You know, kind of stay there. I'm going up to look around." I go, okay, so it's low visibility. Yeah, it's low visibility, and you're about to go up 40 feet to look around. You know, I'm thinking, what are the odds you're actually going to come back down and find me again?
0.
So what I have to do is here. Let's say he goes up, he looks or whatever, and you lose him. It's gone.
Yeah.
What would you do?
So
Or what did you do? Or
Yes.
are we going to see that?
So yeah, now we don't really see that in here because I'm fumbling with all this equipment. So I didn't have a good shot of all that. But what was running through my head is he takes that minute to go up there and look. I was going to wait 2 to 3 minutes because I was going to give him some time to go up there, look,
Sure.
come down, get lost.
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously.
And then we'd both kind of theoretically come up together like 3 minutes later, rather than doing sort of a seesaw sort of a thing. You know, he's up, I'm down, I'm down, he's up, and that kind of scenario. So
Reasonable.
yeah, that was the thought running through my brain at this point. Now that I'm down here at 40 feet, basically all by myself, hoping that he's going to find me.
Wait, but you're not stopping? You're just
Yeah.
going on the DPV? What?
So the video is in sync with the full story here, but yeah, once he comes back down, I take off again. Yeah, so I never do leave him in this scenario. He does come back down, does drop on me, and we're good to
All right,
we're
so
good
he
to
found
continue.
you. That's awesome.
Yes, he did.
All right,
In this
so we're
case.
going.
So we're going, and yeah, we're back into low visibility here. So it never does really improve.
Mm-hmm.
But what I end up finding is we're making another turn kind of to the west, away from the beach. Right, our shoreline is to my left at this point, out to the east, and we end up heading back out towards deeper water. So again, I give him the, hey, where are we going? What are we doing kind of thing. And we stop yet again, and he takes another compass heading and then kind of points us in another direction.
And this is this guy's local
Yeah.
brief. He knows this
Yeah.
He's
area.
the expert.
This is the
Okay.
expert. Yeah. And
I'm sure he
yeah.
has dove this before.
So I'm told. So yeah, and then we take that heading again, and now we begin kind of losing a little bit more of the bottom terrain and start doing, kind of S turns. And yeah, so I thought that was interesting.
By the way, divers out there, who hasn't been lost underwater? Have you ever been lost underwater?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
Right.
definitely.
We've all been lost.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
it all happens.
And when when you get lost and it's a shallow dive, typically I just go up and
Yep.
take a look, and
Where are the bubbles?
You're not that lost is what I usually find. It's like, okay, I got to get back to the boat. I thought the boat was that way. I'm a little bit disappointed. The boat's like right over there. So at least with me, I've never been lost where like, wow, we just blew away 3 miles away. Like we're that lost.
Yes.
I've never had that. So anyway, just put it in perspective.
No, that's a good perspective. Yeah, we've never been on a dive where we've been blown off 3 miles. Even in this dive, to your point, we're still relatively safe. The conditions are good.
Yeah.
It's low visibility, but we're shallow, and we could just come up and abort the whole thing.
Okay.
But where I start getting lost, no pun intended there, where I start differing from him in my opinion of what's going on is he continues to have good confidence in his headings. You know, hey, I just picked up. This is the way we're going. Okay, and then
I'm
the expert. We're going around again, and then okay, then we start doing some S turns. Meanwhile, we're covering a lot of distance right on these DPVs, so we're moving quite a bit.
Hope they're fully charged.
Yeah, I didn't verify the battery. It just came out of a trunk of a car and into my hands. So yeah,
Looks warm.
Away we go. Yeah, it's definitely warm. Water temperature is probably in the low 80s Fahrenheit. So
Ooh,
it's
chilly.
It's all good. Yeah,
For me.
it's all good.
Question is, how do you tow somebody with this guy? Just hang up by the ankles?
Yeah.
I guess so.
So here we're tracking again back towards the south after doing some of the S turns, and we pop up yet one more time because we're kind of lost. And I'll just pause it here. This is the start of the next one, but just to wrap up that story. So we pop up yet again to get a bearing, and this time we both go up, and I communicate to him, hey, look. We've been underwater for an hour and change, probably an hour and hour and 20 at this point.
Dive is over.
Well, yeah, with the DPVs, yeah, I've given up hope on actually diving that pier that I was really after in the beginning. Communicated, I've got about 700 PSI left, and we talked through it, and he's like, okay, well, why don't we head back down and head towards shore? And so I was like, I think we should just surface, swim it in, but, he was kind of adamant about, I can show you, some of the stuff you're looking for. And so, all right. So we head back down, and he takes off to the west. And this is where I completely just differed on what was about to happen. And I went to the east underwater. So I just said, you know what? I'm low on air. We don't have much bottom time left. You just took off into the low vis environment on a DPV. I'm going the other direction.
And then what happened?
So after 10
That
minutes
was the
or
last
so,
time.
yeah, that was the last.
So you saw that guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're still looking for him.
Was
Luckily,
it back
it's
like
not
10
the-
minutes later? Or?
Yeah, it was more like 5-10 minutes later.
Okay.
We both popped up. I was at the beach, and he was somewhere out there.
So what my
sea.
reaction overall on this one, I'm always going to just be totally honest, is
Yeah.
none of this seems to me to be like really a big deal.
Yeah.
You're safe. You guys were 40, 50 foot dive. How far away was the shore? Pretty
Yeah.
close, right?
Yeah.
So none of this was like, wow, we have a really big dire emergency. I'm going to go up. Yep, I'm up. There's the shore. I'm going back to shore.
Right.
He shouldn't have deviated off anymore. Your air was too low at that point. I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Hey, if I'm calling the dive, your buddy should call the dive with you.
Yeah.
And you just get into agreement and you don't separate. I mean, that's just a basic dive principle.
Right.
But no real emergency.
Now, I've never
No.
used a DPV at sea. I've always used it in freshwater or caves and stuff. But if you're at sea and the ocean looks like this one, for example, that is pretty calm, why wouldn't you want to surface DPV anywhere? Like, that way I don't breathe, and when we get to the location I want to get to, I have the whole tank to dive it. Like, why? Let's go down to 50 feet and DPV our way in like a Navy SEAL. Like, why? Just go, surface DPV. Okay, here's the pier. Are you ready to go down? Now let's go down with a full tank. Like, that to me sounds
Fun
like
factor.
more common sense, right?
Fun factor, maybe? Or
I mean, you're still
practicing
DPV in
navigation?
I guess so. Yeah, if you're
Just
gonna
for
practice
that.
navigation and
Yeah,
stuff like
something
that,
like that.
I totally see the point of it. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
For me, it wasn't really a practice on navigation, though. It was, it was me. I wanted to see the pier. That was my main
Right.
objective to it, right? I wanted to take some shots of that and learn that site. But
Sounds like a little bit, which happens a lot, is I know this. This is my house.
I got
I
you.
can get you
And-
there, man. And he blew it.
Yeah.
It happens.
yeah,
it does, and that's why it popped up on our radar screen as one of this year's kind of dives that didn't go so perfectly because he took confidence in wanting to do something, even though he was wrong. He was pushing it past the point of it being a good, safe environment. Gus, to your point, right? We could have popped up and boop, right on the surface all the way back, done several things, but we're trying to force we're trying to force the dive by staying down and getting places underwater on that DPV.
Yep. All right. So what's happening on this one?
All right. So this is a good one. We've got a panic diver at the surface is how this one kind of plays out. So Evan and I are sort of in the lower corner there. This is in Evan. Where were we?
We are in Florida.
Yep.
So
Boynton Beach, right? I
more
think.
north from here.
Yes.
Or St. Croix.
Yep. For
I
sure.
like these locations. Like in South Florida, like all the dive sites are like pretty close.
Yeah.
You know, to the coast. So you can see right there.
That's just all drift
all the houses
diving
and
there.
stuff.
You're
Yeah.
right out in the middle of the Gulf Stream. So
This is-
beautiful marine life encounter out there. A lot of sharks off of Boynton
Oh, yeah.
Beach, that's for sure. So I love diving this area. I've dove it many, many times growing up. And let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of current, so it'll be interesting to see.
There's a lot of current, and it is another low visibility kind of day out here. So yeah.
All right, fire it up.
Fire it up.
Dive, dive, dive! All right, guys, stand up. You're jumping in this one, stand up. All right, everybody stand up, let's go.
That's mandatory for everybody. You have to carry a flag and reel or a surface signaling device anyway of some sort.
Yeah.
Not everybody does, just the team. Just float that along.
Wow. That guy was about to jump in without the tank open. But this guy right here is checking on everybody. Look at that. He's still opening the tank. He was completely closed. That's the safety third guy from our
Yes.
stereotypes video.
No rag was in his mouth.
Yeah. No mask. No fins. Jeff is the only one keeping it real with no snorkel.
Yep. That's true. Good point.
He's like,
All right, I'll take you as a rail, stand up.
The current looks pretty mild, actually, unless the boat is drifting along with them.
I think
Yeah, but
he's-
look at the wind. The boat's getting pushed by the wind, not the divers. So it is mild. I agree with you.
So I think he's resetting for this next group on the reef again.
Yeah.
Kind of just dropped us off in different spots on the reef instead of one area.
Right. It has like a skull
Pretty
floating.
common in South Florida. This is so far SOP.
Standard operating procedure, yeah. I just see all those spear guns. There's got to be lionfish down there.
I just want to go diving.
Exactly.
That's my
What are we
reaction
doing?
right now watching this on that beautiful day.
It was a gorgeous day. For
I mean,
sure.
when was your last dive? Like a long time ago.
been
like
like
yesterday, right?
yesterday.
Yeah.
North, two. Oh, we got a serious. Hey, Frank. Yes. You need to be a little bit on top, or you want to be right on the ledge?
Be right on the ledge.
Top.
This guy was like on top.
Something like that.
Ledge.
Edge always.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of lionfish deep there. So what would, would be with those rebreathers? Annihilation. But they're deep. They really are. They're like 150 and below.
Is there a lionfish in St. Croix?
Yes, we do. They're pretty well managed, but they're definitely there.
Gotta make a trip.
Absolutely.
Go murder them.
All right, Frank, you're going to be a little on top. The ledge is just to your west. Dive, dive, dive.
And that's standard, just so you know. The current is always most of the time flowing south to north, so usually your ledge line is on your left, towards land. Not always, though, is the Gulf Stream flowing south to north. It does switch weirdly at times.
All right, so this is the two of you guys.
We got a panic diver. Hold on.
Panic diver, hold on. All right.
Mike keeps moving.
Oh,
Good catch there.
yeah. Everybody out of the way. Here comes the panic diver. that knife on the calf. Like,
Okay?
why?
No, she's not.
Wow.
Go put that other ladder down, yeah. Okay.
What is happening?
She's just scared and panicking. Now, I'm not sure what happened yet, but I do think they did a really good job on immediately recognizing it
Yep.
and circling back around. Because I didn't hear it when they first said, "Oh no, we have a panic diver on the surface." I didn't hear. Was she screaming?
We couldn't hear her either.
No.
Just the captain up on the flybridge or whatever, he called it
Just
out.
saw her waving
Yeah.
or freaking out.
Exactly.
Probably.
By herself there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually, interestingly enough, if you see a panic diver that's still waving and able to do all of that, I know this sounds kind of mean, but that's a much better situation than if they're doing all that and then they stop doing all that and they get really quiet.
Yeah.
Because then they're bobbing, and if they're doing that bobbing, they're starting to drown. They're drinking water. So a drowning diver is typically no longer panicking. And there's been a lot of articles on that recently. It's really hard to recognize a drowning diver rather than a panic diver. But they can turn into a drowning diver quickly. So my reaction is good job on quickly getting there. I'm sure he inflated her BCD. I don't know if it already was, but he may have reached over to make sure. And if that wasn't working, I mean, the next thing I would have been doing is, ditching her weights, but
Yeah.
it may not have been necessary.
It looks like she's all right now.
Yeah, I think when he did get in the water, he hit her, inflate her, because she wasn't inflated. Is that right, Evan? Yep.
Yeah, I saw in the video, or when it actually happened, I saw him get behind her pretty quickly and make sure he had the inflator in his hand.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Let's go.
It's just a terrible feeling. You really do feel for people that are panicking. It's very real for them, and they feel guilty. Like, did you hear her say, "I'm sorry"?
Yeah.
And they shouldn't. It's okay. It happens. Like, she didn't necessarily do anything wrong. And
I'm gonna set me up on that flag. I'll go get her daughter. Okay.
She's taking her fins off and stuff, so she seems to be all right.
yeah, she's a responsive panicked diver, so at this
Yeah.
point, she's able
You guys
to
mind diving
function.
+1?
Yeah.
I think her daughter's down there still.
Is that her? Are you bringing her up? Or
Maybe
you
she
want
was
her-
overweighted.
I'll bring her up.
I don't know. Did you guys
Yeah.
figure out what happened?
We talked a little bit up on the boat there. I mean, as you can see here, we just kind of stayed out of the way, right, and just let them just do their thing. We didn't want to get involved, there to help if needed, but didn't want to complicate it with any other hands.
Right.
But yeah, I think it was the visibility that got her during the descent. Without a reference to the surface or the bottom or anything else, there's really no line other than the line for the flag. She just got kind of disorientated, and I think that just bubbled up
So-
anxiety and then panic.
So she may have been. I guess she may have lost her little group.
Yeah, she
Maybe
did.
She couldn't see her other divers, so all of a sudden she was alone.
Yeah, so that's where we're at here. She's on board, right, and their group is still down there, and they don't know where she is either. So there's still the 4 divers, I believe she was with, at depth, that don't know where she is, right?
And what did they end up doing? Or are we gonna find that?
Yeah,
out?
we've got a
Okay.
little bit of that here.
Mean by the +1.
If she tags on.
Oh, she goes back in.
Yeah, she has no one to dive with if she doesn't go down again.
I got you. Well, you can drop us on her if you want to.
Oh, yeah.
It's your call.
Yeah, that'll work too.
Okay.
Give it a,
Yeah.
She might have to be at the ledge. Is she on the ledge, Chris?
That's a good call.
The flag's on the ledge. Okay. Yeah, if you want to go down there.
We'll do that.
Why are they not taking her out of the water though?
Yeah, I don't know. He spent a lot of time with her there on the ladder. I wasn't sure about that either. But what we're talking about is now getting in and going to join the other group so that we can communicate to them that, hey, your 5th person is safe on the boat, right? But I don't know why she spent so much time on that ladder. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Your second is okay. And then say us together.
I'm an instructor, 30 years.
Okay.
Coast Guard.
Okay, you're good.
I'm gonna try to-
Thank you for taking me up and going down.
Yeah.
Welcome back. You ready to get back
Oh,
in?
she just said I couldn't get down.
Oh, okay. She did. So maybe it was a waiting
She
issue
said
in
I
there,
couldn't
too.
get down.
She couldn't get down.
That's what she just said. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Got another group up. Okay. Is that her? Maybe that was her daughter.
They're severely bent.
Yeah.
Did you find her? Make sure she knows I'm okay.
Yeah.
She's genuinely really scared there.
Yeah,
so.
she's just spooked.
It's good that you blurred out the face like that. I'm really glad you did that. Respect. Because it's nothing to be embarrassed about. That's really my reaction. I want people to know that it doesn't mean you shouldn't dive again. If you had a moment where you're scared or something happened bad, it's okay. And you learn from it, but get back in the water.
Yeah.
Make yourself do it again once you feel calm and reassured, and things can happen.
I agree.
It does. Yeah, it happens to all of us. And she did. She got back in the water
Oh,
on
did
the
she?
second dive.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Good.
the dive master took her in personally and just spent some time with her.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
I bet that totally made her feel great.
Which group is that?
So we're about to be put in the water here, and there's another diver that's up somewhere else.
Right here, no. Okay. Down.
Like panicking?
They're not panicked, but they surfaced. Right, they've just been in the water 10 minutes here or whatever. But they came up.
And, South Florida, when you're drift diving, I'm just saying it is very common to have divers all over the place on a drift dive. This is so standard. I mean, you can have groups actually pretty far away. You can easily be a half a mile away from another group when the Gulf Stream is really flowing. So it's not that uncommon to see different groups come up at different times, and they're all over the place.
Yeah.
There you go. You see the bubbles?
Wait to go diving. 12 hours. I love South Florida. That water's so comfortable.
It's gorgeous.
Although I'd be in a full 5 mil and hooded vest.
Yeah.
They're all coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Go ahead, Evan.
I think they were all coming up because they didn't know where she was, the mom of the daughter who they were paired with, and I believe they were coming up to come look for her because they didn't know she came up and that she was panicking.
Yeah, I think that's
Right.
right. So in their eyes, they had a lost diver, right? So now they're trying to figure out how to solve that problem. Yeah.
That was smart.
Yep. But we got in and pretty shortly communicated that, hey, she's safe on the boat. It's good.
Great.
But the boat's already taken off towards the other panic diver or diver at the surface.
By the way, really well done on your part. You said it earlier and we kind of breezed over that, but you had a crew. They were handling the situation. They were managing it. By you getting out of the way and just chilling is exactly what we train. You're an instructor. You know that. Look, you're not always the point person. If you're not,
Right.
let them take over. Otherwise, you're just a big hindrance because that can really get things even more confusing. So we kind of glossed over that when you said that, but that's the exact right thing to do. So my reaction to you guys is beautiful.
Cool. Thank you.
And now you're like, can I go diving?
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I mean, you do want to get your dive in. Look at those spears in the back.
yeah.
They're big.
I don't know what they were after.
He's coming back on. Okay, he's getting back on. Okay. Give me 1 sec, I'll turn around.
Oh my god. still haven't dropped everybody off?
No.
Oh my god. Like, people finish their dive before the whole boat jumped in.
Somebody was panicking.
You can come on over to the ladder. Are you guys going down? Oh, okay.
I mean, that 11-year-old getting on the boat right now, he has to have like 2,500 psi on the tank. They breathe nothing. It's like, they take a bag of potato chips. That would be enough. The air in the bag would be enough for the whole dive.
She seems like she's chilling. Like she's calming down.
Yeah, the first lady is doing good.
Hey, dude, how was your dive?
Oh,
All right.
Here we go.
So we're cutting to the next one here, but to round that one out, so when Evan and I got in the water with the other group, we first let them know, hey, you know, your mom or the other diver you were with is safe on board the boat, and we descended down with them to continue on our dive together. Because we dropped with them, you know, we were diving with them and their flag. You know, as you mentioned, everybody has to have a flag there and tow that. But we did get a little separated from that group, didn't we?
Yeah, so what eventually happened was they wanted to go fast, but we wanted to kind of go slow and film everything. And we eventually got separated, and we just didn't feel like fighting the current to keep up with them. And so we eventually had to use our own DSMB as our kind of own flag.
Yeah. So we
No
launched
problem.
that from like 48 feet because I think I had a 50-foot reel with me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's
Wow, that's cutting it close.
Yeah.
50-foot reel from 48 feet. That's
Yeah, it was a little close.
yeah. So don't forget, number one, you should have a reel 1.5 times
Yep.
your planned depth, and the second thing is that the South Florida divers are amazing at firing DSMBs at depth because it's a common required occurrence.
Yep.
So that's a skill to practice. That is one I just got through practicing all weekend with the students, because doing that in the current and getting your body position right so you don't entangle that reel as you're firing it and so you don't go up with it, right, is a real tricky skill at the beginning, but it's really an important one, especially when you're drift diving. So every once in a while do that, and I don't know who fired it, but don't always let him fire it. Do not do that.
That's
It's
a good
easy
point.
to do. It's easy to get into. You know, I don't feel like undoing it and getting it out. You do it again. Don't do that.
And you
Make
don't, you
yourself
know, and
do it.
they actually had to do it, but you don't have to wait until you have to do it to practice. Just tell the people on the boat, hey, look, I'm going to be firing my DSMB. I'm going to practice. It doesn't mean we're having a problem or there's an emergency. I'm just going to practice in this dive, and they'll be cool with it.
Yeah, and you know, we do that at home on St. Croix quite a bit, actually. When we go off for a boat dive, we'll kind of trade off launching that DSMB from depth, and we'll let the captain and crew know that, hey, we're going to do this. We often get, you know, sideways looks like, why are you doing that? This is not, we don't ever do that here. And I said, well, there are other places in the world where you have to do this, and this is practice. Yeah,
South Florida.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, very good.
Awesome. All right. Well, here we're transitioning to Guadalupe Island off of Mexico, and we're
Great whites.
cage diving.
Look at that visibility,
with
dude.
great white sharks. Visibility was crazy here.
It's freezing,
you could
but-
see forever. Yeah,
What was the
I
water
could see
temp?
fish in like other countries.
Guadalupe.
yeah, you could
Cold.
see, you could see it. Fish in other countries.
Guadalupe. Dry.
No, it's not
Okay,
cold.
what was the
Stop
water
it.
temp?
I think the water is 68 degrees
told you.
Fahrenheit.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so dry suit with heater. Okay, cool.
No.
Nice. The great whites like it.
All right. Let's play this out and see what happens here. All right. So we're just down here filming, doing our thing.
Hey, buddy.
Look at that.
Awesome, man.
Bye.
It's so fantastic. Yeah. So this is actually the captain. He gets in. He's just doing some repair on the cage, or just some maintenance.
By the way, I'm not sure that I would really want to see a cage repair going on when I'm in the cage.
Exactly.
That's my
Well,
reaction. I'm like,
this cage is
cool,
so
there's
rickety.
Hey,
Let's
cool,
go
look
fix
at
it.
the 12-foot great white going by. Yeah, we got this big open part I need to patch up.
Yeah. The side of the cage is almost falling off, so let me just...
Yeah, let me fix that.
You have some
up,
zip
but
ties?
Enjoy the great white, and I'll have this fixed in a little while.
Yeah. Hand me the zip ties.
I'm with you on that. We looked at each other like, what's he up to? For sure, we definitely
Right.
did. But I will say, and I will preface this by saying, the captain and crew were extremely professional, and they were just stellar. They were fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see what
Just
happens.
one quick thing I wanted
Yeah.
to point out, in case people are diving out there and they have to do weight belts, because most people learn to dive with weight integrated BCDs. They don't use a weight belt. I just wanted to point out the fact that this guy has that crossover on the weight, and you do that so the weight doesn't move around. So you just put it through a side, do a loop or twist it once, and then put it through the other side. That will prevent the weight from shifting during the dive.
And that's
Just
our
a quick...
standard Georgia aquarium. We have to
Right.
wear weight belts,
Sure.
so we're constantly strapping them around us.
Correct.
Because it's freezing environments there.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good point. And we're down here hookah diving, so we've got air coming from a surface station.
Surface supply.
That was a zip tie. Oh.
They're like, is the cage okay? That look to me was like, the cage is good, right? Because you see what's swimming around.
No,
us. That's what I am. That's the impression I got.
I don't
of
know if you
guys
saw it,
now.
but there was a bang, and now all of the air is leaking out
Yeah.
of the manifold
Yeah.
where all the regulators are connected to.
Yeah, the captain does get out of the way, but he's currently in the middle of the shot here, so you can't
okay.
can't
Let's play it.
see
Let's
what
play it and
happens,
see.
But yeah, we'll play it here.
You're like, I'm out of air. My regulator doesn't work.
Low bubbles. Low bubbles.
Keeping it cool. Good job.
Yeah, I slowed it down here, but you can actually see what happens. So that's where I hear the pop, and I turn
Yeah.
around and like, yeah, what the hell is what's
What
going
was
on?
that?
Because this is pretty much the last scenario I ever expected to be in an out of air scenario, right? I'm in a surface cage with air supply, and the air supply I know has redundancy to it. So I feel like nothing's going to go wrong here from an out of air standpoint.
That's funny.
Yeah. I have air for days.
I have air for days. Like I say,
I'm gonna breathe faster.
yeah,
Hilarious.
So much air.
this is perfect. And yet I take my last breath, probably right about in there. Yeah.
You're like,
So I'm like, huh, that's wrong. So I'm
still
looking,
Wait.
I'm like, huh, I see all
I
my
like how you
air.
look at it, you're like, why is that air not coming through my lungs right now?
Yeah. So the first thing I do, I completely disregard like what you do in the textbook, and I turn to Evan and I tell Evan to go up.
Okay.
Your dive is over.
Right,
Go.
your dive is over, not mine. I'm out of air, but your dive is done.
Right.
And right, so the reason is right, Evan, because I don't know if you're out of air either.
Yeah, and I wasn't out of air, but he doesn't know that. And
Right.
I didn't know if he was out of air because
Yeah,
I couldn't tell what was happening either.
but I figured at that moment the best response was for you to get out of the water because at the end of the day, right, I can't go home without you. Mom will just kill me, so we're both done.
Well, and here's the important part about this is that people, and we've done several videos in our channel and Dive Talk, where as soon as people have a problem, they immediately bolt to the surface. They panic and go. But when you take a breath, like most people can hold it for like 30 seconds at least. And I think that's what's happening here. Like you have no more air, but you're not going bananas, right?
Right.
And like bolting to the surface. You took a time to be like, Heaven, you go up. You even turn around to the guy, the captain, and you're like, hey, dude, I know you're repairing something, but it's time to go up. I'm out of air. Like you did all the signals while no air was being provided.
Yeah.
Because you have time. Like you don't have to lose your mind.
Yeah, there's time, and the backups are in my brain. Like my option, I can go to the surface. There's also dive tanks stationed in the corners where I could just grab a regulator if I wanted.
Right.
So there's plenty of options here. But yeah,
You're like, go up.
I'm like, you
The
get out of
captain
here.
is like, what's up, guys? I'm halfway through my repair. Oh, you're out of air. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Captain's like, that wasn't what I was fixing.
That's what you're fixing now.
No, he's like, damn it, another thing on the list.
I was just fixing the cage.
One
but
more
okay.
thing on the list.
All right.
Jesus, am I ever gonna have a full working cage?
Look at the bubbling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Calvin
pour-
looks and
it's
he's
just
like,
pouring out of there. That's not good.
He's like, I gotta fix that.
dude,
I gotta
if
fix
only
this.
he had that purple glue stick from one of our videos.
And duct tape.
And the duct tape. Yeah.
Just
Slow it
up.
down for
Just
sure.
glue it there.
Oh, that's not supposed to happen. Look at him looking at the host like, I think that's supposed to be connected to
And the great
manifold.
white comes by for a little
Yeah,
A little visit.
visit.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Super calm.
Yeah, that was great. I think that, the thing to learn in terms of feedback from that one is that most people should learn from that. That if you run out of air, it doesn't mean you're dead immediately. It means locate your buddy, go give him a signal, I'm out of air. Just don't rip the regulator out of the mouth and lose it. Take it easy, get a regulator and breathe. If you look around and don't see anybody, then go to the surface. But you have time to make a decision,
Yes.
which is what you did, Jeff.
Yes.
So that was good.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely took my time and tried to work the problem. I did take my regulator out of the mouth. I think normally I would have left that in and gone up, but I took it out because I felt a little tension on the hose. And because I wasn't sure at the time what was really wrong.
Right.
Like maybe my hose would have been caught in something and I wouldn't have enough line to actually make it to the surface. So in that moment, I took it off because then I was free of it.
I mean, I think
Yeah,
I think it was the right thing.
And that was when I was saying blow bubbles. I don't know if you heard me say that.
Yes.
My natural reaction
It's a good
when I'm teaching, we're always taking the students' regs out and they're tipping. So just don't forget, even
Yep.
if you're, 5 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet there, you can have a lung over expansion injury. So I was like, blow bubbles on
Yeah.
the way up. You can blow baby bubbles and easily you would have made it right to the surface.
But I would
Keep that in
say
mind.
you saw that the hose was completely disconnected. So I wonder if you try to breathe, if water could come in through the regulator.
yeah, I don't know.
I said blow bubbles.
No, I know. I'm just saying that, taking the regulator off was the right move, because if he had it in
yeah.
his mouth
No, it was
and
great.
tries to breathe one more time, it would have been water,
Yep.
salt water. So I think this was the right move. So that's awesome.
Cool.
That's the reaction.
Yeah.
And mine's great job. Just whenever a reg's out of your mouth, just blow bubbles. Just always avoid, if you can, try to avoid those lung over expansion injuries. Those are unforgiving.
That's true. It's very, very true. All right. Well, guys, that's our year in review.
Cool. Wow.
What didn't go so smoothly for us, but as you can see,
How did this end up? Did you end up getting the cage fixed and end up getting a
Yeah.
nice great white experience and footage? I'm just
We
I know
do.
it was a lot of money probably to go there. So
oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, we do nothing but tell everybody if they can to go dive with the great white sharks. It's
Cool.
it's eye opening. It's amazing. Yes, we got lots of footage. We've done several videos on it.
You know what they said though, Woody? They said it's illegal to dive without the cage.
Yeah. So
That's so dumb.
It's highly regulated in the area, so only
I
by
think I knew
permit
that.
and special
So
permission.
you can't.
area.
Apparently, you can't go diving with gray whites without a cage, which
Yeah.
is what I want to do. They
Well,
said illegal.
It's also illegal in South Africa. I've done it there off of Seal Island, and it's illegal. You're not even allowed to take a boat out to Seal Island unless you are licensed with the government to be doing the cage great white sharks. You're not allowed to take your boat out there because they breach and they'll collapse your whole boat.
Oh yeah,
So some of these places are highly regulated.
yeah.
But, off of South Florida, we have great whites. We certainly have bull sharks that are often
Yep.
mistaken for great whites. They look like great whites.
Yep.
When we
And-
went mag tooth hunting, they said there's a great white that has been spotted around this area. If you guys see it, don't get spooked. It's humongous. I didn't see it.
But maybe these great whites are there because, that's their food sources all around in this area.
Right.
So
Tourists.
they tend to get a little bit more frenzied. So
Yeah,
that's
there are
probably
seals
why.
everywhere. It may also be a mating ground.
Yeah.
We're there at a time when the males are very active, but the females show up in October.
Surfers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yep,
there's lots
Well,
of
cool.
activity.
You guys seem super chilled and relaxed even when there's a panic situation. That may be the biggest reaction I guess we're all seeing here is that will be the best thing you can do in any emergency situation is to not panic, which seems to be what you guys did in every one of these situations.
Yeah.
So let's go diving together.
All right.
Maybe we'll have a different kind of DPV. We could show you the
Like the normal one?
like the one that you
normal one?
clip in the front, and
Yeah.
that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
But there's so much great diving, and I love the BVIs, so
Yes.
we'll have to do that. Then we can make a reaction video of all of us diving together.
Diving in the BVI.
Hopefully, nothing too bad to react to.
No.
But
No. No.
well, thank you.
Cool.
I'm honored again that you guys came. And what's your plan now? Maybe we could talk about that for a second.
What's our plan now? More.
Like right now, like literally, like what's your plan? Like right now,
Well,
after this reaction,
Where's this going?
are we going to eat? Let's go eat.
Yeah, we can go. We can go eat if we can go diving. I'm in for that. But
Nowhere to dive.
that'll have to wait till Wednesday.
Really, here in Atlanta.
Yeah.